What's up, what's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you again.
You too. She's just looking fabulous. What are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Gucci shoes, Gucci. Got a little Indian jewelry working.
Oh, that is hot. You've been working it with these movies. Were you nervous?
Very nervous, but I'm real happy. It's something I've wanted for a long time, so to finally make that transition, it's great.
You're doing another movie this summer, right?
Hopefully things work out. Everything will be rolling.
That's great. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Tonight?
Tonight, yes.
I want to see D'Angelo perform.
Girl, I'm with you because you know he's fine.
He's fine. He's hot.
Believe it or not, there was once a moment when Aaliyah and Beyonce were actually tight. While the industry tried to pit them against each other like some battle of the queens, word on the street is they shared way more than anyone knew, including their deepest fears. But now, with all this new info coming out about what really went down with Aaliyah, did you ever stop to wonder, what if Beyonce was trying to protect her all along? The whispers say Beyonce may have stepped in to shield Aaliyah, and it had everything to do with girls being moved across borders under shady circumstances. That's right, the same type of allegations that Diddy is now facing in court. And let's not forget, big names like Jay-Z have also been hit with similar accusations in the past. So how is all of this connected? That's what we're about to break down. Now here's where it gets extra messy. Before Jay-Z ended up with Beyonce, guess who he really wanted? Aaliyah. And that's not even gossip. Dame Dash, who actually dated Aaliyah, confirmed this himself in an interview with Page 6. He said, "He tried very hard. I didn't mean to fall in love with Aaliyah. She was just that cool. But you know, we were both going hard. Everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah." And get this, Dame didn't even know Jay was feeling Aaliyah when he started dating her. Dame added, "I did not know Jay was trying to holler at her. But then it just happened like that. He was trying, I was trying, everybody was trying. He was going hard." That alone tells you how serious Jay was about Aaliyah. And it wasn't just Dame noticing. Folks around back then say Jay-Z had it bad for her.
When she actually saw the plane, she, we had the Blackberries, and she said, "I don't like this plane." And I was like, "Well, don't get on it." And she was like, "Well, I got to because I got work to do." She got on the plane, and she always had a very serious fear of planes in general. So she had to overcome a fear to get on that plane on the way there. But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet, and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about?
One insider even spilled the tea about a party Jay threw, saying he didn't show up with a date because his attention was locked on Aaliyah the entire time. A source even told the Daily Mail, "I saw that Jay-Z was trying to get close to Aaliyah, but I didn't think too much of it at the time. I probably thought they were just friends or making music together." But now that Dame Dash has spoken out, everything's clicking into place. Jay-Z wasn't just hanging around, he was all over Aaliyah. They were hugging, vibing, and that chemistry, you could feel it from across the room. Here's where things take a chilling turn. Not long after all this went down, Aaliyah tragically lost her life in that mysterious plane crash. And to this day, the pieces still don't fully add up. It's been said over and over that the small plane she boarded was way over its weight limit, hundreds of pounds over, which would have made it super risky to fly. But that's not the only red flag. Reports also claimed the pilot faked his license and had alcohol and sugar in his system when he took off. And if that wasn't enough, Aaliyah didn't even walk onto that plane on her own. She was unconscious when they loaded her in. Kathy Iandoli dropped that bombshell in her book, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah. In the book, she shared the story of Kingsley Russell, who was only 13 at the time. His family ran a taxi and hospitality business on the Abaco Islands, and on August 25, 2001, he was riding along when his stepmom drove Aaliyah's team to the airport. Kingsley said that when Aaliyah saw the aircraft that was supposed to fly her back to the US, she immediately backed off. She didn't want to get on that plane. She knew something was off. So she got back into the cab. Then, someone from her crew came back, asking what was going on. Aaliyah voiced her fears again, saying she didn't feel safe boarding a plane that looked way too heavy. That's when it gets disturbing. She was reportedly given a sleeping pill, knocked out cold, and carried onto the plane without her being fully aware, even after clearly saying she didn't want to fly. And here's where things start sounding real shady. See, some folks believe Aaliyah's death wasn't just a tragic accident. It may have been part of something way darker. People close to her have whispered for years that she felt like she was being controlled, watched, even used. Some even said she had plans to leave certain people behind, both professionally and personally, because she started catching on to what was really happening around her. And when you look at who was trying to get close to her, Jay-Z, Diddy, and other heavy hitters in the music industry, it starts raising eyebrows. These weren't just chance encounters at parties. These were calculated moves. And now, with Diddy under investigation and shocking lawsuits piling up, folks are going back and asking, what really happened to Aaliyah? There's been talk that Aaliyah knew way more than she let on, that she had seen things, heard things, maybe even been pulled into things against her will. And some believe that her trying to distance herself could have put a target on her back, especially with all the shady business involving girls being flown around, private trips with no paper trail, and powerful men protecting each other behind the scenes. One person who worked around the scene even claimed that Aaliyah started asking too many questions. And not long after that, she was gone. The timeline's messy, but the pattern, way too familiar. So now the question is, was Aaliyah just caught in the middle of a dangerous power game? Or was she trying to escape something deeper and didn't make it out? Because when you connect all these dots, it ain't looking like coincidence anymore. And let's not forget, right after Aaliyah passed, the industry moved fast. Too fast.
See. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared.
Beyonce suddenly rose to superstardom, and Jay-Z, he shifted his attention straight to her. Some folks say it was just timing, but others believe it was calculated. Like the spotlight had to be moved, quickly, and Beyonce became the new focus. Now here's the wild part. People have pointed out that Beyonce's career started blowing up almost immediately after Aaliyah's death. We're talking major endorsements, huge roles, top-charting music, all within a tight window. And Jay-Z was right there, guiding her moves, producing, collaborating, and slowly becoming part of her personal life too. Some fans even claimed Beyonce began stepping into Aaliyah's space, taking roles she was up for, locking down endorsements Aaliyah had been in talks for, and slowly becoming the face of everything Aaliyah once dominated. Was it a coincidence? Maybe. But in this game, moves like that don't just happen. And what really has people side-eyeing is how tight-lipped everyone stayed. No one in the industry talked, no tributes with details, no deep investigations, no industry push to ask more questions about her passing. Just silence. Almost like everyone had been told to keep it cute and say nothing. And now, with all the lawsuits dropping and secrets unraveling, Aaliyah's name keeps popping back up. People are rewatching interviews, digging through old footage, and realizing that she may have been the key to a much bigger story. A story full of power, silence, and a whole lot of cover-ups. While Aaliyah was still knocked out cold from whatever pill she had been given. Things were already looking suspicious. But here's what really sends chills. Just weeks before she passed, Aaliyah sat down for an interview in Paris. And what she said? It sounded more like a warning than a dream. She said, "It's dark in my favorite dream. Someone is after me, don't know why, I got fear. Then suddenly I lift off. I fly away, far away. How do I feel now? It is like swimming in the air, free and without any weight. No one can reach me, no one can touch me. It's a wonderful feeling." That doesn't sound random. It sounds prophetic. Almost like she knew something, or felt something, was coming for her. And the strange pieces don't stop there. People have always questioned the role of those around Aaliyah during her final days, especially folks like her family members, and even Hype Williams. Yeah, the same Hype Williams who randomly switched her last shoot from Miami to the Bahamas, even though they had already started filming on a green screen in Miami. And be serious. If you really wanted beach scenes, Miami has beaches for days. So why the sudden switch up? It didn't make sense back then, and it still doesn't now. A lot of fans believe this was all just a setup to get Aaliyah to travel alone, knowing she was scared to fly and usually only traveled with her mom or brother. That wasn't a coincidence. It looked strategic, calculated, and it only adds to the growing list of things that just don't sit right. Now here's where it gets even scarier. Diddy's longtime friend, Mary J. Blige, once said something that left people shook. She believed foul play was involved in Aaliyah's death and even admitted that she felt like she was next. In her own words, "It was just that when I saw her die, that's when I discovered the fact that I'm next. I don't know how or when, but I'm next. I don't know what kind of freak accident they're going to try to put me in or what kind of overdose they're going to sort out. But at the end of the day, I knew I was next. I just thought, I'm scared." What kind of world were they all living in behind the scenes? Because if people like Mary J. and even Beyonce had that kind of fear, then clearly they knew something. Something we weren't supposed to know. Lately, more and more reports are dropping, and the truth looks way deeper than what most people ever imagined. Word is, Aaliyah may have lost her life not by accident, but because she wanted out of all the Hollywood chaos. And we're not just talking about shady business deals. We're talking about the kind of stuff Diddy's on trial for right now, like moving girls across borders for highly questionable reasons. Allegedly, Jay-Z wasn't just a bystander in all of this either. His name has been floating around these dark circles for years, and insiders say this is exactly what Beyonce was trying to shield Aaliyah from. She saw something, and maybe tried to step in, but it might have been too late. The feds weren't playing. They allegedly told him straight up. They were investigating Jay-Z for crossing some serious legal lines. According to Jonathan, they accused Hav of having inappropriate relations with Rihanna before she turned 18, and allegedly flying her across international borders when she was still underage. But it didn't stop with Rihanna. The agents said she wasn't the only one. The investigators believed there were multiple girls involved, and names like Aaliyah and Foxy Brown came up. That's right, Foxy Brown. Reports have long claimed that Foxy was blacklisted in the industry after things went sour between her and Jay-Z. Why? Allegedly because he could no longer control her, and their situation had started when she was still in high school. People who went to school with Foxy even claimed that Jay used to pull up and pick her up from school. And yeah, Biggie used to pick her up too, but insiders always said that was more like a friendship. With Jay-Z, folks around them say everybody knew they were together. And it gets worse. Before she was iced out of the music scene, Foxy allegedly went through all kinds of mental and emotional pain at the hands of Jay-Z. Pain that many say mirrored what Aaliyah suffered under R. Kelly. We already know that R. Kelly manipulated Aaliyah into a relationship that was beyond inappropriate. He reportedly forged documents to illegally marry her while she was still underage, and rumors say she became pregnant. He wanted that marriage on paper because, legally, a wife can't be forced to testify against her husband in court. That wasn't love, that was strategy. And here's the most disturbing part. Allegedly, both Jay-Z and Diddy knew exactly what was going on with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. They weren't clueless. Reports claim they turned a blind eye or even enabled it to protect themselves and their own dark secrets. If all this is true, we're not just talking about scandal. We're talking about a full-on pattern of silence, control, and abuse tied to some of the most powerful names in music. And the cracks are finally starting to show. So here's the harsh truth. These young women were allegedly pulled into a world they couldn't escape. And it all started with the same trap. Those now infamous industry parties. Known in whispers as freak ops, these wild events weren't just for fun. They were setups. The first step into something way darker. There's even a photo that's been making rounds. Diddy's 4th of July party, July 2nd, 2000. You've got Aaliyah, Damon Dash, Jay-Z, Diddy, and Jennifer Lopez. All cozied up in bed at the same party. That wasn't just some random group pic. That was a snapshot of who was moving in those tight, powerful circles. And yes, Aaliyah was seen at multiple events with Diddy. They were photographed together more than once, meaning she was definitely being kept around that world. Once these girls got comfortable at the parties, the next alleged step was transporting them across borders for reasons nobody would talk about openly, but the ones who pushed back. The ones who asked questions or tried to get out, they either got blackballed or they were gone, just like Aaliyah. Now listen, maybe Beyonce marrying Jay-Z was her way of staying safe in the system. Who knows what kind of moves were being made behind the scenes? And while people love to throw dirt on her name, what's been floating around lately tells a different story. Some claim she actually tried to protect Aaliyah from the same trap she saw coming. It's a lot to process. And whether you believe it all or not, the whispers are growing louder and the pieces are starting to come together in ways they never have before. So what do you think? Was Aaliyah targeted because she wanted out? Was Beyonce really trying to help her? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm ready to hear it all. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. This rabbit hole goes deep, and we're just getting started. See you in the next one.